Okay, so I'm back. Let's continue. I was doing the initial window, the initial state when you load up the plugin. So now I can select the layer type and select some favorites, but I still need to do the neighbors screaming to each other, and I have my window closed. Bunch of jackasses. So okay, so what I'm going to do now, on the initial option, I need to create some options on the menu, and it's going to be another pop-up menu with the options from the, let me think for a minute. So it's going to be layer object, so I'm going to get the layer object because the layer object is going to exist, and it's going to be the initial one. So I can go like this. Then I can access layer initial layer object get. So I can access the list, the layers list. So I can populate it. No, it's not like that. So I have two. Okay. I have the text list, and inside the text list, we should have a list, then the size. Is that correct? Then I can populate the whole thing. So text list, I have the, let me check again. Text list, number 0 is the left one. And a list size, okay, that's correct. So I can just copy this. And then that's going to be my item that I'm going to be adding to this menu. Add item, text. So it's going to be LL+1. Then the layer type. So that should do it. Then the first item, I can add item, I can create like a negative one, and call this initial menu. Actually no, default, because I'm going to call this initial menu on here. Add submenu, the submenu initial load, startup load, then the menu. Then a separator. And also I have to add the look and feel to this guy too. So now, when I click on options, I should be able to select which is going to be loading by default. So if I go here on options, step load, so I have the default and then all the others that I selected. It's open the about box because I didn't put a condition for that. If choice equals 999, then opens the about box. And now I also need to know so I'm going to create on the constructor of the plugin. So I have my configurations where they are. I don't think I have anything in here. Oh, it's when you initialize, then I can call the settings. So it's going to be app settings. And here I can add some defaults. So let's say app settings. I can create a default list. I have done this before. I just have to remind myself how I do that. So prop application name, get default. This can be called to suggest a file that should be used based on the values of the structure. No, that's not what I want. Applications, set fallback property set, and is a property set. Okay, so I have to create that. I think this should be a property set default settings. I think that should do it. Set fallback property sets and this guy. Okay, and now here I can add set value. So let's say initial startup default. Then I can add all the default stuff to this. Set default values for the settings file. And then I can use that here. Default enable, yes, and then you compare to the app settings, get value initial startup, compare default equals 0. So we compare, because if I use a code or something like that later on could be a problem. So instead of just going to compare with the actual name, compare. So now it should be default, and default is that main window we are seeing now. Then if you select something else as the initial default startup, it's going to change that, and right away should be loading that. I also should put an option for a preset, so you can also select a preset as the default one. So start upload selects default. It's not going to change because I haven't done any code for that yet. So that's working. And then we added the default here. And we add preset. -2 is going to be preset. And then when you select that one, it's going to open the preset selector from where you can select the preset that you want to load by default. Yeah, that's it. And you can also add a separator here on the default and the preset. Then here on the default settings, we can add initial startup preset and just leave it blank. Well, if it's blank, we don't need to actually use that. So I can go like this through, and then get value is not empty, is going to select that. That's it. And if you click it and it has a preset selected, it's going to unselect the preset. So that's pretty much it. So all the options are there. I just need to make this menu larger depending on the size. Well, it is changing, but it's still very small. So let's take a look at where this is being called. I think I have a look and feel file, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look there instead. So let's see. Look and feel, it is in here. Draw pop-up menu with height 62. We can make it 78, I think. So it's a bit larger and easier to read. Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, I think that's better. So everything here is working now. Now on initial file. So when there is no list for the favorites, I want to display empty. So paint. Where is it? Here. So if list size equals 0, then we just put something else. So let's get let's set the font, the color, and this is going to be used for both code, and then you draw a fitted text empty right on the top. And then, well, I think that's it. So it should show empty now instead. It's not showing empty. Favorites. Why it's not showing empty? Zero, zero, get width. Oh, here's 88, but I don't think that's the problem. Set font, custom font. 00 gets refund height. Weird. Empty. Because it is a text list which is empty. So if size equals 0, so just to test it, well, I don't know. That's weird. Okay, I remember what it is. So if it's 0 on the resize of the thing, so it's going to be here on the 1. So the list size, we have the minimum is going to be this value. So Jmax, so it's going to get the highest value, the maximum value. So this should do it. Because if the list is 0, it's not going to have any height, so you use the Gmax to set up something. Okay, so it works. And the mouse doesn't work because it's empty. So that's correct. Now, the next part is to actually create the browse presets option. So that's another layer type. I already have the file here, browser. The data selector I didn't use in the end. And I just want to double check that the data selector is correctly working. So 80. No, it's not working. So let me check what I'm doing wrong so I can fix this. Then I'm going to open the browser. Then after the browser, I'm going to work on the first layer type, which is what the Workstation Z1 was using. So I think I can reuse a lot of the code, but I have to worry about the new format that I created. So let's just see what's going on when the data folder is not present, because it's trying to load something. Okay, I see. So I have to be careful here. So if the app settings is null, I have to return and ignore this part until you select a folder. And I also have to add this also have to add this in here. Not null pointer, otherwise it's going to crash when there is no data folder. Everything else seems correct. Click to locate the required data folder. Okay, let's do this. So it's here, this is the data folder. And it loads up. So that's good. And it's working. So, okay, now I want to remove one file here because I'm not going to be using, just to keep things organized. The file browser already added there, and it's here on the bottom. So the data selector I'm not going to be using. The browser are going to be using, which is what we are going to be doing now. So let me check my files. Oh, what did I press here? Oh, okay, it's compiling. So let me check my files first. So you should have a background that is for the file browser. So this is for the layer type that we're going to work next. This is not going to be like this anymore. And here's the browser, which I have to fix and change the logo and the positioning here. A few things I have to change it. So let me check. So that's number 3. What's number 4? Number 4 is the one we already created. And number 5 is FX version, which I also have to fix. So let's delete number 5. And, well, 4 is correct, no problem. So let's work and copy. Because the only difference between these two is the logo on the top, which has effect on it, and the text on the bottom, which has effects on it. So that's fixed. I can close this now. Did it save? Sometimes I mistaking the button. No, it saved it. So now I have to fix the background tree. This is the one. And I have to use the same top area. So from now on, what I want to do, I want to divide the top and the bottom areas. So everything that follows after this one, I have to use it correctly. But in the case of the file browser, the problem with the file browser is that I replace everything's the same, but I replace the options button with the X button to close the window. Well, it's not a big deal. I can just put the X button on top there and keep this structure of having the top area. So I'm just going to copy. Let me try something. I'm going to copy and paste it new from clipboard. And then I can crop it until the line it's over, before the yellow line. So that's going to be the top for everywhere, including the file browser. So I have to call this another name then. It's going to be background top. Or can you just call this background 6? Because I know the background 6 is the top one. Then here on the file browser, I have to remove the workstation there. So let me first copy the bottom area here. Whoops. This I can close. This I can close and put in there. Oh, it was right on the place. So it's there. Okay, so let me group these and trim. And now I can go here and cut it just as it starts the yellow line. Like that. So that's the browser. So that's file number 3. And I already save it. I click it, Ctrl S to save it. Why it's not saving? Okay, it's saved. So now I need to just, in case, so we have background 6, which is the top one, 480/70 in width, 480/70, okay, the width is correct. And then we have number 3, which is the rest. So I want to sum up the height of both to see if they match what it should be. 491, 3115. It should be 3116. So I cut it 1 pixel extra. Weird. But that's okay. 1 pixel is not a big deal. So how I'm going to do that? Well, good question. First, let me create an image for that. So let's go to the plugin editor. So now we're going to use the image holder instead. So we're going to use background, top for the top background, browser. So those are the two ones that I'm going to be using. And then on my constructor I have to put the sizes. So let me first create the files. Well, that's going to be a problem, I think. No, that's not going to work. I need a full screen background like I have here. They all have to be the same size. And I will have just to double up the top area for all the... I don't want to do that. That's the problem. But there's going to be a problem when I'm stitching the two backgrounds from different resolutions. So yeah, I'm going to have to copy. There is no way around it. So let me open again my... So background 6 I'm not going to be using anymore. And on background 3, I need to actually copy this and move down to the right place. Okay, that's the right place. Because since this is a background, if I try to stitch the top and the bottom, depending on the size of the application, is not going to stitch correctly. But having a background that's just one file is much easier to do that. It is not exactly what I want to do, but it's going to work. So now I need to export this to file number 3 and find on a backup of another file. I think I have the the full file, because I need to put the X instead of the options. So skin files, font, globe, initial layers, presets. Here, that's the one that I'm looking for. So you see, instead, I need to put this X in there. And I need to adjust the positioning too. So I'm going to remove this guy and try to figure out what the position is. So I'm going to be measuring relevant to this area. So 315. And then I'm going to measure it from here. Okay, I already have an idea. So it's in here. Then I can copy those two and paste it in here. That didn't work. Now I will have to export this to a temporary file. Yes. So let me open this. Skin files, defaults, and where is my temporary file? Here. Then I just copy this area, and then I cut what I'm not going to be using, just so it's easier to stitch here. Wow, that's perfect. Just trim, because if you don't trim the layers on this program, it cuts the whole thing, the whole layer that you just created. It's a bit silly. So it should be options in there if I'm not mistaken. Why it's not showing originally? Well, I'm going to leave options out for now. This is a temp file. Where is the file I'm working? This one. So okay, this should be the file browser, and then you're going to have the layers here on the top, which we should remove that, and also the layer type, because on the file browser we don't use that. So this is a good time to rethink that. So instead, that's background one. Let me double check here. Background one? No, that's not background one. So that's no good. I need to work on this guy first. So what I'm going to do is take the top area, which is going to be the same always. Place it in here on the right place. I'm going to remove some of these guys. These. Then I need to find out. Well, let me align first this. Okay, that's aligned. Okay, that's good. So these guys, I already have all the files for these guys. So I don't have to recreate that, but I'm going to leave this on a file in case I need to change something. Then the vents I have to remove. And what I'm going to do, well, the volume goes here, because we may want the volume. It's just those two guys I need to change it. So this one I need to remove. But first I want to change the positioning. Where is the X file? There we are. So where's the X? Top lines. No, it's not that. Oh, it was zoom before. It's not very correct. Okay, now it's correct. So master volume was there. The master volume doesn't even go there. The logo doesn't go there. So everything else seems correct. So what happens now is that I want to actually remove these guys here, and by doing that I need to remove these. Oh, my neighbors are so damn loud. So okay, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with all this area here, because when you open the file browser, let me show the other file. What happens is that here it shows the layer selection, and the file browser is going to be for the current layer, the one that you have selected. So it doesn't need to be showing there. But then again, no, actually you do need the layer there, because you can then select another layer to load it, and it's going to show the current preset. So that's correct, okay. No big deal. It's just not going to... let me think. No, not because... Well, no. Just on the sound browser it's going to work. On a preset browser, well, I can then just replace I can create two file browser images, and one with the layers information, the other without. So when you lost sound, well, yeah, that makes more sense. Anyway, I got it. So this is... Let me export this to a temporary file again. There must be a way to create in memory this, but I don't know how to do that, so I just create a temporary file, which is easier. Then I copy on top of the file that I need to update. In this case, it's background 3. And then I just go like that. It's not something that I'm going to be doing a lot, so it's not a problem. I forgot the guy there from the previous idea. So that's it. Let's just remove the Music Station Z1, because it's now AD. It's another name. And I can save this. And the idea now is to take this and remove this guy here. I'm on the temp file. So let's remove from there. So this is the background. And then I can create some new vents to replace that. Where are you? And that looks bad. So like, let me find from another file. So let's say we're browsing presets. There's no layer. So you remove the layer information. I'm going to call this 3B, just in case. But I want to put the vents in here. So let me find the file where I actually did that. So skin files, I don't remember which file was. I think it's on layers, this guy. It's a very large file, it's 40 meg, I think. So let's copy this guy and put it in there. And then you can duplicate. Oh, it looks like we have to move this up so it shows. Okay. Duplicated. I forgot to duplicate before. $106. Let me try to keep this aligned. 106. Then create all these groups here, just so it doesn't leave an empty area there. But maybe it will look better if I align this in a different way. So let me try something. So this way I can check this separation. Can you look at 40? 40. Now I can copy 2. Then 40 again, just to keep it aligned. And another one. So they're evenly separated. Yeah, that's look okay. So let's call this another name then. Well, this file I can copy over, no problem. Just the other file. Copy this to temporary again. And it should be okay. Skin files. So let's copy the 3 and put the temporary on top of it. I forgot to remove the visualizations you want again, but it's not a problem. So it looks aligned. So now it's perfect. Just remove the bottom here and save this as a new file now. So it's going to be background 3B. Because this is the one for when you're browsing for presets. And I think that's correct. At least I think so. So now let's create the files, initialize, background 4, 3 and 3b. Then I can start working. Okay, so it's creating all the 3 files. 4, and it should be the same size as the 4 ones. Yes, they are the same size, the smaller ones. So okay, it has created all the files. Let me just double check. Yes. So now I can create the background browser, and I'm going to create 2 files in here. And I have to put this on initialization. No. Where is it? Here. Because I need to initialize the file sizes. Background browser. I don't think this. No, this is not allowed. I never know how to do that, so I'm going to just go background browser presets in back browser sounds. That should do it. Presets sounds. So okay, so that should take care of that. But I also need to start worrying about these guys during the resize, because I don't think I'm doing that. No, I don't think I'm doing. So let me just double check. Oh, it doesn't on the load images, I forgot. I created this to help me out, and then I just forgot about it. So on the resizing interface is doing that. So well, okay. I can continue doing from here. So I have to add all these guys that are properly created. The others are not correctly yet. So this should be loading the right images. So now comes the complicated area. I need to create another layer object. So let's copy this one because it's easier. Layer browser. There is no text list. and the layer browser. I don't need to create any here. I get it now. Interesting. So the initial, let me see one thing. Resize it. Where does it check for the background? Oh, it doesn't here. That's a bit confusing, but it makes sense, so we don't do it in here. Oh boy. We don't do it in here. We're only going to do here the global stuff. And the file browser is not a global stuff. It uses global images, but it's not like that. So for layer browser, we have the creation, then we have the background, and then we can create like if it's a presets browser or not. Yeah, that should do it. Then I can copy a few things from the initial. It's just easier just to copy this whole thing and just delete what I don't want. Where is the browser? Here, browser. Oh, I forgot to copy the header. So this is not being used. Background 3 by default. And we need to change now to layer browser and this. And then also do presets thing. And I don't know if I can do this. If it's presets, it's background 3. Otherwise, background 3B. It seems to be okay. So there is no show top area. What's the show top area? Files through. Oh yes, the volume and stuff like that. Okay, so these I can remove because I want to show the master volume. There's no viewports or text list. We do check out the background and then draw it if needed. Then if it's resizer, there is no options of background, nothing like this. I was thinking the background could be part of the shared code, because all layers are going to have a background. So this could go to the layer object, layer object paint. Let's see. It doesn't use anything. And then let me put this below. Then you can also have the background as part of that, because you're always going to have a background. I think that should work. Just have to check a few things. Previous width is not in there. What's in there? What is complaining about now? Undefined. No, it's not. It's in there. Ah, come on, dude. Text list undefined. It looks like I'm missing something here. Is this because it's a virtual? It shouldn't be. No. Because I didn't define the background details, so let me think. What I could do is just define like this. Because we need to create oops, I put uppercase. Yeah, now it's correct. So let me remove this one here. Yeah, that should allow me to reuse portions of the code in a much clever way. So here, instead, we're going to be using layer object, then the names. Yeah, that works. Then here on the paint, instead of all these, we just go layer object, paint G, and anything else we want to paint, we will paint after that. It should work. Let me put this in here. And, well, since I'm not using anymore this in here, I don't have to override it, right? Will it allow me to not overwrite? I want to check that. And then on the browser, here, it's going to be different. So it's going to be the editor and all this stuff, and then it should work. Let's see if that works out. Because you're always going to have a background. There's no need to keep copying the code. I see some errors. I think it's because of the virtual. Use of undefined type. Yeah, I know. So I have to copy this outside. I get it. Because I want to leave the virtual just in case. Where is the layer object? Layer object, layer object. I should remove that. I remove it from the header file, but I'm not going to be using anymore, so it should work. So it's still working with the new code, so not a problem. Everything still seems to be working. Now, what I need to do, so it's on the on and off callback, initial options, initial browser. So the callback needs to create a new layer type. And just in case I want to check here on the browser, so layer object equals new layer browser, and it's for presets. And there's no need for the return on this, but we need to repaint the whole thing. Oops. What the heck? Layer need. Oh, I forgot to change the name. So browser. What's complaining about? Initial browser and then the layer. Okay. Oh, I forgot to remove all the components. Oh, this can be a mess. But it changed the background, so that's correct. So we actually need to delete all children and then the loader in a new. But that's complicated, and that's where it's going to start the area. And so the layer object is adding stuff to the editor, but that's not what I want to do. I need to have two actually components. That's the top component and the main component. So let me check. What I'm doing for those guys. Oops. So the top component, I'm doing nothing. Oh, actually I'm doing something. So that's the top component. Display preset, which is actually wrong because it only shows. Oh, this is all wrong. So I have to fix that. This is all part of the browser. So okay, you have the main component. That's where things should be being added. Like this, main component, add and make visible. Then everything should be doing that. Why? Well, because when I want to raise everything on the main component and not on the rest, I will just go main component, delete all children instead. That is going to delete everything that's part of the layer. anything that's global is going to go on the top component, which is going to be the volume, and I think that's it. So I have to also check the preset name also should be going there, but well, let me finish the main component first, because then on the initializing I just go like main components, add and make visible main component, and then on resize, where is the resize interface? It's always going to be the whole interface. So it can be done like here, set bound 0, 0 get width, get height. That should work. Then when I click on a different layer, it's going to remove everything and start with the new layer type. Yeah, that's it. Then everywhere but the main window, we are going to have the master volume, the layers selectors, and stuff like that, but on the preset browser. So I need to also worry about that. And the way I can do that is just I create the components and just use visible or not, and I never clean the top area. I just use the visibility of the component. So for that, let's see on the on-off callback, the main component is there. Now I have to worry about the top component. So this guy I added and made visible that. So here what I do is go like top component, add and make visible. No, not add and make visible. I should be using set visible to and to front. No focus gain. So now I can do this here, and then make visible top component. Actually no, add child component, because this way I don't have to worry about deleting the variables. The interface itself is going to worry about that for me. Then if I need to go back to the main initial area, this area, there's not going to be a problem, because it's just going to hide all the top stuff, and that's it. So here don't have anything yet, so it's empty. Okay. Because the idea is simple. Let's say if you click X there, it's going to close the file browser, and then it's going to go back to the initial window. If there is a preset loaded, it's going to go to the first layer or the last selected layer from that preset. So that's the idea, at least. So this should work, but there are a few problems in here that I need to address. So let's see, the start preset component, okay. So I need to add as a child component, all these, and only show if it's really needed. top component at child. The master volume is always showing, so that's not a problem. The panic button is always showing. Preset search will depend, and options is also going to depend. And just in case, I'm going to add the panic but not show, and have it set visibility and stuff like that. And the same for this guy, so it's not showing. So here on the on and off, I can go display preset, set visible true. But I don't think it's going to show correctly yet. I don't have the font. Yes, I don't have the font. I have to load the font as well. And the font's a bit complicated to create. Yeah, there is nothing there. But that's okay. I can fix it. So render font, I have to check if all these files are being loaded. Render font. So this is the code that was creating the font. It's not, I don't think it's resizing. Yes, it's resizing, it's resampling the image of the font. But maybe instead of that, because it doesn't look that better, I could just create a new code to use the custom font instead and see how it looks, because I didn't see that much of a difference. So the display, it's in here. So for now, just let me just to test if it's actually showing up in the right place before I start messing around with the files. Because I already have the font, the correct font in memory. It's not showing up, so I have to check why. Probably missing the position or something like that. So that's going to be, what's the name of the object? Displayed in preset. I have to check where it sets the bounds. Oh, it's not setting because I removed the code. It's better to leave some space there. So the resize, let me check again. Display presets at bounds. And everything else I don't need it. So I do the about box in here. And now the display in preset. And since I already creating this during the initialization, it's not going to be a problem. On the main window, at least. So it's still not showing up there. Set bounds, preset name positioning. Let's see if this is getting loaded. So it's loaded from the skin file, which was working before, so I have to check if it's not something else that I forgot. Display preset. So let me check initialization. Top component, add child component. Okay, so is in there, and I'm adding the top component, but not setting the size of the top component. Forgot that, so that should be on the resize interface. So just like I set the display not the main component size, I also have to use the top component. And there it is. It crashed because it's trying to, because I click on it and I should not click on it. But it is there. So now I can check. I'm checking all the text that goes within. And instead render the font in another way. So I have to recheck this file. Of course, not showing anything, so that's correct. So it should be at least so this is the code to show the whole thing. And which image is that I don't remember. Let me check the display file. It's on the components. Because I don't remember. Text, stick, on and off, fader, image on display. So it's passing some. Oh, the font. What is this one here? Gosh. Oh, it's creating a copy of the of the whole thing. So I don't really need this. Instead of that, I can just write draw fitted text, and then it's going to be the text 00 get width, get height, justification centered one line. This is going to use the default font. Just let me see if it works. Then I continue from that, and then I clean up a bit of this code so it look better. I think my text is in black. Set colors white. It's a lot of work and I haven't started the audio engine yet, but that's it. It's not showing up. If the text is empty, where is extracting the text from? Because I don't have any preset loaded, that's why it's empty. But it's still not showing. That's weird. Oh, no. Ah, come on. What's changed? Ah, this one. This one is preventing from running the rest of the code. Then I have to find a good size for the text. And so let me check. Set font editor. Oh, the editor, custom font, width, height, float, get height, times 0.82f. Then color is going to be some sort of blue. I have to find the correct blue. Yeah, that's working. So now we just have to make this a bit larger. And what's the color I'm going to be using? Let's check it out. So where can I find the text color? Oh, here. That's the blue we want. So let's grab it. RGB X. No, RGB, it's okay. So it's going to be color. 1. So that's the right color. On this size, I didn't like that size. Yeah, that size is pretty much good. But one thing I was wondering now, so I can put this back. If it's empty, it's empty. And I'm not going to be using the cached font anymore, because it's a lot of trouble to handle that. And this other solution looks much better. So it's either going to grab the name, the file browse contents, or the library contents. So yeah, that looks okay. I was hoping to show something else when you're first browsing the presets. So instead of init, which there is no init anywhere, and that looks a bit crap. That looks a bit strange. And there's another problem that I have to address, which I already noticed, is that the resizer component should be the last thing on the screen, because I'm loading very large components to the screen and they are taking space. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's a problem there. How am I going to handle that? I don't know. So what we could do is add this during the initialization, because the first thing I create is the resizable corner, and I could go and do main component then make visible resizable corner. I could add to both components. And then here I don't have to worry about that. Let's see. It should work in theory. But now I'm wondering about the top component, the top stuff. It's not showing there. But here it's showing. Okay, that's a bit annoying. I think I'm going to have to split the top and the main component. But it's not going to be a problem now because my background is one size and it's not a big deal. But it should be. That's the weird thing. Because even if I have two components on top of each other, the mouse clicks should be passing from one to another. And not understanding why it's not passing. Weird. So probably going to have to split up the two components. Let me think about that. So this is working and this is not working. Because now I'm putting a top component, which is this one, on top of that one. And that's so annoying. So let me think here. Let me check. So the top component goes on top of the main component. Mouse. Set intercepts mouse. Through and through. And the same thing for the main component. I don't know if that is actually what I'm looking for, but it's something like that. Or what I could do it's still not doing that. What I could do instead I have an idea. That's a better one at least. So the main component we don't actually use. We don't use the main component. Just use the top component instead. And we add to the main area. And what happens is that the top component, let me show. So the main component doesn't exist anymore. But we have the top component. And or instead of that, what I could do instead of using the top component is using an array of component on an array of component top components. This is going to make a sense in a minute. So instead we go top component, add, components, top components, add, nothing here, top components, add, so I'm going to add to this list. I'm going to leave the master volume out for now, because I have to think how I'm going to do that. So now I have a list of everything on the top components, and it's going to be deleted when the things are closed on the destruction of the variable, the on-it array. It's showing me an error. Okay. So by default, there is no component on the top. There is no bounding for this. So it's working here correctly. Just when I go here, that I need to remove everything but any top component stuff. So I can create like a call for that. Remove top components. Then what I do is top components size, remove children, remove children component, children to remove. Removes it doesn't delete, which is what I want. So remove children component. So it just removes from the screen, so I can clear everything but the top components. That's good. So what I do here is remove top components, delete all. Delete all children. Then after that, I have to do this before the new object, always. After that, I can add back the components. Add top components. And then I just use the same format. Add child component. Add child component. So this should make it possible to have the top area in the same view area. Then we should not have any other problems with that. But of course, I also have to remove. Oops, I don't want that anymore. I also have to remove child component, resizable corner. It's not that. What is this? Resizable corner component. Okay. And then we add it back afterwards. Add and make visible resizable corner. Yeah, that should do it, because it's not going to delete and not going to mess around with that. The lovely process of compiling. So my resize is in there, everything else is working, and it's gone. So it's not adding back. So let's check again. Oh, of course, I didn't put the add top components back. So remove top components, delete all children, create the new layer type, and then add top components. We could create one call for that, which is going to do all that. And there we go. Oops, something messed it out on the resize interface. Oh, because the about box also needs to be removed. Oh, that's so much fun. So let's see the about box. Add child component about box. So it's in there. So let's go there. Oops. About box. It's not like that. Add and make visible. Add and make visible about box component. Ooh. Remove child component about box. And it should do it. But let's create a call for that, because I'm going to use a lot these layers changing, so it's just better to have one code for all that. So let's create something like a change layer. I don't think change layer has been used before. Then I have to pass the new object, layer, object. Then the layer object equals object, and it does everything that it needs to. It's just much cleaner to go like this, and it's going to take care of everything. At least I hope so. So, okay, it's time for me to go again, and we see each other again some other time. Thanks for watching.